r/ask Reddit. What are common things you've never done? Broken a bone. Join us over on r/never broke a bone. Sorry, let me just jinx myself. Have a dream where I'm flying. Next time you're dreaming, try swimming in the air. Works for me. It works, but it's painfully slow. Been in a serious relationship with someone. Could be worse. I've never kissed someone. My dad paid a prostitute to take my virginity at 24 because I was embarrassing him by being bad with women. I've lived with that shame ever since, and it has tanked 2 of my marriages. Been ice skating. I wanna try, just never have gotten a chance. Dated in high school. Nobody was really interested, I suppose, and I had better things to do. Edit. My goodness, this blew up. It's nice to know I'm not alone in this. Thank you kind strangers for the awards, and I hope 2021 treats us all well. My husband didn't date in high school or college. We met in grad school when he was 27. I'm very glad it worked out that way because if anyone had dated him prior, I doubt they would have let him get away. This is so cute. Whistle for more than like a second. Edit. Thank you everybody for making this my most upvoted comment. I love all of you. 3. I can only whistle breathing air in. Weird, but that's how my body is built. I can go both ways. Allows me to do it constantly for a little while. At least until I need to swallow. Spit just kinda builds up. Takes some practice to do it right though. Going in is a bit sharp. I learned to compensate so no one notices. Skied or snowboarded. Same, and it's more embarrassing since I live in Utah. It's just so damn expensive. Built a snowman. It's weird because I live in Canada, but when I was a wee kiddo all my elementary schools had this rule about picking up snow. So no snowballs, no snow forts, no snowmen. We were however allowed to roll snowballs along the ground but not to pick them up. So I've never built a snowman. Edit. Seen a lot of comments asking why I never built a snowman at home. We lived right across the street from the school, so if the staff saw either I or my brother picking up snow in our front yard, they'd call our mom. Our mom worked full time and would get interrupted by these calls. She told them off every time until she got calls all the time. I think they didn't want kids seeing us doing it because they would then go, but they are doing it over there, so I don't know. Got to say that's a pretty shitty rule. They don't want to risk a chunk of ice or a rock to be thrown with the snow, so they don't let any snow get thrown. It's shitty, but it makes sense. Never had a one night stand. I've always been in relationships and never had that experience. I tried to have a one night stand casual relationship once, but we are married now. I have a friend who brought a random guy home from the bar one night. She had to work early the next morning and tried to wake him, but he was sleeping so hard and she had to get to work that she was like, fine. He'll eventually wake up and leave. Nothing worth stealing in my apartment. No big deal. He was there when she got home. He apparently didn't want to just leave without at least learning her name again and getting her phone number. And then he just never left. They hit it off so well, both drunk and sober, that he stayed another night, and another, and then soon enough the lease in his own apartment was ending, so she just helped him move his things into hers. That was like 12 years ago. Happily married with a bunch of cute kids. Like her one night stand just moved into her apartment essentially the very first day they met. And it worked. It still boggles my mind when I think about it. Sex? I bet 70% of the people in the world are this way. Just looking at people. There's over 7 billion people on the planet. Somebody must be having sex. 2 days ago, I would have said fly, but a helicopter ride to the hospital fixed that. So you opted to pay for the executive experience. Not so much opted, as had to. When you live 60 miles from the hospital and are having heart attack symptoms, they don't give you much choice. Can't swim. Never been in a porta potty either. Edit. Thank you for the award, kind stranger. That's not the place to learn. Thank you all for the upvotes and my first awards. I just ducking choked on my Oreo. I have never been on a date, and I'm in my early 20s. 26. In the same boat. My first date was at 27. Good luck. Make a Twitter, Instagram or Facebook account. Ask someone out. You can do that anytime. The answer is usually no, but it never hurts to ask. I know, I'm not afraid to, I've got my own problems that I need to deal with before I put them on someone else. I just never had a good reason to ask someone out. I've never ridden a bike. Well, this is an interesting one. Where are you from? I grew up in Nebraska. I've never made it through one public speaking opportunity, whether speaking to 3 colleagues in a meeting or delivering a wedding toast to hundreds of people, where my throat hasn't closed up with fear after 30 seconds or so. Everyone I know can stand up and talk to groups of family, friends, colleagues, etc. and just be looked at by all of them. But for me, no matter who they are or how many, my anxiety takes over and I can't get the words out. Maybe someday. Edit. Thank you all so much for the overwhelming support, encouragement, compassion, and great tips and advice. I'm left with the new feeling of, hey, maybe I can do this. I realize that through all the painful and embarrassing public speaking flubs, I still lived through them all. I'm signing up for Toastmasters and will take even small opportunities to speak in public where I can. I appreciate you all. Happy Cake Day. I tend to talk too fast and babble through my public speaking. The average of us is one great public speaker. Gotten a tattoo. See, I've seen many designs I'd love, but I am not sure if I want to commit or feel a needle that much. Ditto. Never understood the desire. I've never been trick-or-treating. How come? Edit. If trick-or-treating is not a thing in your country, it shouldn't count as a common thing you haven't done. Asian edit. Almost all Hong Kongers live in apartments, not houses. Watched Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones? I refuse to watch Breaking Bad solely due to everyone around me demanding I watch it. It was a matter of principle. Once the hype died off, I watched the first episode and was hooked. One of the best shows I've ever had the pleasure of binging. If you have any free time and can't think of a show you'd like to watch, I'd recommend BB. Edit. Fixed words. And I would also definitely recommend El Camino and Better Call Saul. I have actually prefer Better Call Saul, though the margin is very small. A few years ago I would have told you that you absolutely had to watch Game of Thrones. Those were the days. Duck D&D. Die. You don't get a choice on this one. Buckle up. Hey, don't give up hope. In 2020, people died that have never died before. Tried mustard. I don't trust it. Edit. To satisfy everyone's curiosity about the distrust. 1. Bright yellow. Suspicious. 2. Vinegar as like first or second ingredient. Don't take me for a fool. I love this one the best just because the reason raises far more questions than it answers. Elaborate. As a North American white woman, I've never had a pumpkin spiced latte. Never had chickenpox. 0/10. Do not recommend. So you are supposed to only be able to get chickenpox once. I got them twice, about 4 months apart. Had to be hospitalized the second time because I got them in my throat and nose. Couldn't breathe. Bottom of my feet. My eyes. Like the parts that connect when you close them. It was bad. 0/10 would not recommend. Eaten food from Taco Bell. I've never had Chipotle. I've never watched any of the Back to the Future movies. I've had people get legit upset when they found out. I kinda like having not seen it. Not sure you'd enjoy it now as much as you would have in the 1980s, but I still recommend at least watching the first one. Been to Disney. Learned how to swim. I was in lessons when I was around 3 or 4 years old. I can still remember seeing my dad in the pool. He had blue swim trunks on. I didn't want to go in. I was hanging onto my mom's legs. The lifeguard took me and tossed me into the pool. This was the 80s. I never went back. Still don't know how to swim. My college required swimming to graduate. Luckily I already knew how to swim like a fish. I made sure my daughter knows how to swim. We have taken a break due to the pandemic, but she was going great and I'm proud that she didn't give up even when it took a few times though the first level to pass. Never gotten high mellow on weed. Have tried it many times, 40 times, but never got high, only badly ducked or paranoid, so yeah, I'm decided me and we don't agree. Same. I tried it again a few months ago thinking that because I am 30 with my own home I would have no reason to be paranoid. That whole night I thought my dog was mad at me and I was seriously upset about it. This is strangely adorable. Never sworn in front of my parents. Damn, my mom and I communicate mostly through swear words. It's never hostile though, mostly just emphasis. Mowed a lawn. Got my ears pierced. Had a threesome. Had children. I'm sure I could help you accomplish the first one. And I could probably take you somewhere to get the second one. The third and fourth would probably require an amount of understanding on my wife's part that is unlikely to be forthcoming. Threesomes are common. Had an eye doctor appointment. Imagine having to pay to see. Instead I just have asthma so I pay to breathe. Meanwhile, I pay for both. At 38 years old I've never bought a TV. Had the one my parents bought me when I was kid, and then I won one at the Christmas party at my high school job. So I had those two until I was in my late 20s, and in the last decade I've received 2 hand-me-downs from friends who are upgrading. I never have the most up-to-date one, but that's not something I care about. I have one that works well. Watch Star Wars. Do it. Lose my virginity because gamers never loses. Been in a relationship. Join a sport and stay in it. Seen Hamilton. I didn't go to prom. I've never had poison ivy. I think I may be immune to it. My grandfather knew he was immune and used to chew on and rub it all over his face to show off. I've never taken a train by myself. I wouldn't even know how without looking it up. Drank a cup of coffee. Edit. I also just realized I don't like any warm drinks. I'd much rather have cold water anytime. I always carry some with me. Drugs. Never went rock climbing, bouldering. Also I never ordered wine in a restaurant before. Open bracket. I did drink wine with Coke at a party though. Must not judge. I've never eaten an orange because the smell made my sensory processing disorder go crazy, and here I am at almost 20, never having had an orange. This thread is really bothering me. There's a ton of things in here that are massively shocking that people haven't done. Good thread OP. Married for 5 years. No ex-girlfriends. Eaten a pear. I never finish shit. You need more fiber in your diet. Solid advice. Broken a bone. Never used Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. There's a host of classic horror movies I've never seen, but the most well-known would be any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. My parents forbade me from watching such movies growing up for religious reasons. Every Halloween I say, hey, this is the year I finally sit down and watch that stupid Elm Street movie, and I've still not seen it because nobody ever wants to watch it. Seen a few others at least. This year I watched Psycho for the very first time. I'm sure I'll get to the others eventually. I've never went hunting. I've never eaten a burrito or a kebab. I've never broken a bone or either never had a cavity, either never been to Disney World nor Land, either never seen the Godfather movies, either never been stung by a bug, either never skied, either never had a big mass, either never driven a convertible. I have never seen any Star Wars or Star Trek anything, films, shows, etc. Never been to Disneyland. Poor families don't have the time or money to travel for expensive leisure vacations. As a kid, Disneyland may as well have been Mars. There was no way I was ever getting there. Edit. Being poor is subjective, I suppose, when you factor in cross-state travel, actually owning a reliable vehicle that can make it their airline travel money, lodging, having the luxury of being able to afford time off work, food and drinks. It becomes impossible for poor families to achieve. Ain't nobody going to Disneyland when you're barely making rent. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.